Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to be talking about the 11th episode of Season 3 of Walking Dead. You know, we go through every single episode. I'm going to watch every episode of this series, even if it gets a little redundant, which it's already starting to do so. Like, my goodness, I don't know how that's possible, but hey, we got the Madden video, then I'm done for the day. I'm going to go get dinner, go shower, watch some basketball, study, do all that stuff. So, yeah, but tomorrow we will have... we'll have a Dahmer review, and we will have a Better Call Saul review. So let's get into the plot and obviously the critical reception, which is what we normally do. That's kind of the structure of these shows. Following the governor's brief but costly attack on the prison, Herschel wants to abandon it. He wants to leave the prison behind. He's a little intimidated. I mean, obviously, as a guy with one fucking leg, yeah, you probably should be a bit spooked out and a bit nervous about the whole ordeal. Merle points out it is too late for that. The governor has had enough time to block all possible escape routes. So yeah, Merle kind of knows what he's doing. He's been with the governor for a decent amount of time in Woodbury, so he's kind of informing the group like, hey, we need to have a stand here and show him that we're not scared and that, moreover, the governor can besiege the prison and starve them out, so literally lock them in, and yeah. So, it's not looking too good for the group right now, it looks like although they killed probably 40 people in Woodbury total, maybe like 30, I think he's going to have the upper hand. He's going to try to get some momentum back, Rick and Glenn, however, argue that the group should stay, even though they don't have enough ammunition to clear out the walkers that are going to be pressuring them. He thinks they should stay. This is their home. They need to have some hospitality for as long as possible. For the longest time, this was a very nomadic group, and I think that he wants them to kind of lay away for a while. That's probably a good idea. Rick begins to walk away, causing Herschel to challenge him to get his head clear so that he can lead them. I really like what Herschel's doing here. He's kind of assuming like a Dale type of role, which rest in peace to Dale. My goodness, what a character he was for this show. A lot of people don't really appreciate him that much. He's kind of assuming this Dale type of role. Like, Rick, you need to get your head out of your ass and make a good decision, or else it's going to cost us lives, many lives, possibly all of us. Even Carl sees his father would benefit from some rest and suggests that he let Herschel and Daryl take charge, which is probably a good idea. I think Rick so far has made some pretty fine decisions for this group, but I think him taking a little break until, the war kind of happens again and have, Daryl and Herschel kind of help prep for everything. Yeah, and Herschel and them are probably going to want to leave, but I don't know. We'll see. The governor is readying Woodbury for total war. Like, he's getting everybody up on the fences. He's like, look, we're going to give you guns and you're going to fucking defend this town, regardless of what you think. Civilians, including women and adolescents, are given weapons and taught to use them in preparation for combat. There's this town of people that started off so innocently, no guns, living in straight peace, and then they go through the chaos, and then they have to learn to fight for themselves. A lot of these people haven't really matured all that much, and now they're kind of forced to. Andrea is disturbed by this and asks to leave to negotiate a peace with the prison, but the governor discourages her, implying that she will not be welcomed back if she leaves. Like, this is pretty much a betrayal. Like, they're already going to war with this group, and now Andrea wants to, go over there and try to make things right. It's way too late for that. They've already waged war, enough war to really have no return to peace. So it's kind of unfortunate, and it's nice to see that Andrea wants to make everything right, but it's probably not going to happen. Andrea asks Milton to help her sneak out, which Milton reports back to the governor as per his assignment to keep tabs on her. Obviously, Milton is very, he has nobody else to really serve, so the governor is the guy he's really the most loyal to. So he's letting the governor know about all this. The governor tells Milton to help her. The governor still kind of loves Andrea, and he wants her to do whatever she wants, but it's going to have some consequences. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. So she leads him, or he leads her and helps her go. In the woods, Milton helps Andrea capture and disable a walker, hacking off its arms, breaking its jaws, and tethering it, imitating Michonne, like a great strategy that Michonne showed when we first kind of met her in the show, late last season. I don't really have anything else to say about that. While they are doing so, Tyrese's group comes upon them and kills several approaching walkers, kind of helping them fight off the fray. These are the people that were at the prison, just at the prison, so obviously they're getting close. Milton agrees to take Tyrese's group back to Woodbury, while Andrea leaves with her disabled walker for the prison. And obviously, this group is kind of against Rick and them because there was no negotiating of if they could stay or not. They just got kicked to the fucking curb the second they entered that prison. So, obviously they want to retaliate as well. For the lack of civilization and the cold-bloodedness that, Rick's group has been using recently. It's just sad. I don't know. It's kind of crazy to see Tyrese's group again. At the prison, Glenn quietly suggests handing Merle over to the governor in a desperate hope of appeasing him. So, Merle can come back and try to regain some loyalty, but I'm pretty sure if they tried that, Merle would probably die. Merle, meanwhile, tries to make amends with Michonne for trying to kill her, stating he was only following orders and was not proud of all that had entailed. So, obviously, now that they're a group now, he kind of wants to reunite and make sure that they're on good terms, so when they go into battle together, nothing bad happens, no inner squabbles take place. Andrea's arrival at the prison is met with distrust, especially from Rick, who handles her harshly while searching for weapons. Obviously, the police mind of Rick, searching for her weapons. After catching up on the deaths the group has suffered, she warns them that Woodbury is getting ready for a war and offers to negotiate a truce so she can go back and kind of tell the governor that, hey, these guys don't want to fight. We can handle this like men instead of children. All the wars have been caused by children, let's be honest. She's like, oh my goodness, Shane died? It's kind of a sad moment for her to go through all the people that have died and all the memories she had with them. She has to accept it, though. Believing that peace is not an option, Rick tells Andrea to help them sneak inside Woodbury for a surprise attack, but she refuses, which she was originally with this group, so I don't know why she's not complying and why she isn't helping them do this, but it is what it is. Michonne later relates her story of how Merle was sent by the governor to kill her to Andrea, demonstrating that he won't allow anyone to leave or live who isn't under his control, so once she gets a little more context, she's kind of wanting to end things with the governor and kill these people off because they are led by a more menacing person than anybody in Woodbury thinks of Rick as. At Woodbury, Tyrese's group has been brought to the infirmary building where they are cleaned up, which is nice. The governor automatically having some hospitality, appearing as if, he's a good person. But the governor gives them his friendly welcome speech and discusses their ordeals. Alan reveals that they'd been at the prison where the crazy leader Rick chased them out, which, it's just a claim of territory. I don't know what they wanted him to do. Tyrese gives the governor the same offer he'd extended to Rick, to help out and earn their keep. We can do anything. We'll help you guys out. We'll help you strive as a civilization. The governor asked if they could provide a layout of the prison, kind of give a rough layout so they can plan their attack. Alan and Tyrese, wanting admission to Woodbury, gladly agree, while Sasha remains reluctant. She's like, should we just automatically turn on those other people, or are these the crazy people? While Andrea is visiting Judith, Carol quietly pressures her to assassinate the governor. Carol's like, you gotta do this. You gotta come back to this group. The group gives Andrea a car for her return trip to Woodbury, where she is again greeted with an array of weapons pointed at her. Obviously, anyone that enters the gates is going to get that greeting. She gives the governor a full report, so she pretty much spied on these people. Back at the prison, Beth begins singing Tom Waits' Hold On in order to boost morale, which she kind of did at the campfire over at the farm. While Beth sings, Rick states that he will be going on a run for weapons to prepare. He and Merle also share an antagonizing look. Obviously, these two do not like each other still to this day. Later, in his bedroom where he is asleep, Andrea brings a knife to the governor's throat and contemplates killing him, but cannot bring herself to do so. She's just not that shitty of a person. It's kind of crazy. Andrea is thinking about killing the governor, which she could so easily. Rated a B on the AV Club. The Walking Dead is good at the most basic mechanism of suspense there is, but there's more to great storytelling than body count, really. 6.8 out of 10 on IGN. Not the greatest episode for critics here. The episode was very Andrea-centric, which a lot of people didn't like. Every season, IGN kind of talks shit on Andrea, so it's kind of normal there. The return of Tyrese and Carol's the return of Tyrese and his group to the actual storyline was cool. Carol's plan to kill the governor was also cool because it showed Carol kind of getting out of her shell a little bit and like wanting to take some action against something. I'm gonna turn my PlayStation on actually, so I'm ready for this fucking Madden video. We're gonna crank out a banger here. But yeah, I don't really have much to say. I think it was a good episode. It builds up. I think the finale is going to be the war. That's like the only way they could really do this right now because they've built it up for so long. And if they don't have the war at the end of the season, if they decide to like put it in some random ass episode, it's gonna be weird and awkward. But anyways, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, it has been GCTV giving you guys another Walking Dead review. I'm really stressed out in college, but for college, and I don't even know if I'm gonna pass one of my classes, but I might have to withdraw. That's kind of how my life's going. If you wanted an update, but YouTube helps. Getting on here, having a platform, talking about stuff that interests me is cool.